worked some pretty interesting assignments in his lifetime, you know, in the Army here. But in particular, you know, John started off as an armor officer. Started off right here at Fort Lewis, well, back when it was Fort Lewis, you know, back in the day. Back in third Brigade, at that point, still 2 IDs, pre-striker time. 3rd Brigade 2 ID for some of the old timers out there. General Hertland, at the time. Yeah, so this is, you know, a number of years ago. We still had tanks out here at Fort Lewis in those days. Well, we haven't had tanks out here in a long time. You know, served his time here. All his normal time to do as platoon leader, XO, all the crazy things you do there in those time periods. At that time, and then, you know, off to the captain's career course and off to Alaska. You know, with a hell of a time in Alaska and striker outfits, a couple combat tours, you know, coming out of Alaska. Shows there's some great Americans who I know up there up in Alaska and some great stuff, you know, working there. Come out of there and went to Hohenfels, Germany. I think was the next stop place there. Place I've served at, probably a few years ago, served at in there too. Working in the ops group, working as an OC, as a live fire OC out there in Hohenfels. I would tell you, I had that job when I was a captain, senior captain, junior major. Best job I ever had in my life. You know, being an OC and running around out there in the box. I know you enjoyed that time there too. Again, look for some other great, you know, Americans that I know, Dan Walrack in particular, Dave Batchelor, you know, a few of the guys out there that who I hold in, you know, high esteem in the Army. You know, after that, going off to the Command General Staff College and then School of Advanced Military Studies, become a Jedi Knight. And he pulled a fast one on me. I'm not sure he pulled a fast one on me, but at that time he was coming out of Leavenworth, and First Corps was getting ready to go to Afghanistan, and I was a G3 at the time. And my job, charged by the CG, was go to Leavenworth and find all the varsity athletes and get them on our team, and don't let them slip away anywhere else. Well, John was one of the ones that slipped away from me there. I'm not quite sure how he did that.
I was the rope in the tug of war, sir.
Yeah, he slipped from the grasp there and made it off to CGIATA 435, which was a joint interrogation detainee task force there in Afghanistan. A real eccentric, eclectic group of individuals.
Yes, sir.
That God bless you, brother, you have the job and responsibility for having to try to manage that and work that process and work those systems. And that's why I kind of first met John in doing that kind of stuff. And you can see right from that, you know, it took me like all about 5 minutes to figure out, here's a guy with some special talents, here's a guy with some special leadership, who's able to operate in that environment in, frankly, in real simple terms, to make things happen. Because some of those environments, and some of you have operated in some of those joint interagency, echelon above reality environments, and a lot of talking goes on, and a lot of stuff goes back and forth, but not a lot of doing goes on, as one of my old brigade commanders was telling me at one point. But John did a hell of a job there in making things happen. We got to spend about a year working with John during my penance time in a NATO assignment, you know, over there in the ISAF Joint Command Headquarters. And so when John came back here, I kind of put him on my radar screen as somebody to look after and go after and get. And then last year, we were looking for folks to come into the headquarters. Both Colonel Lippman and I sat down, you know, kind of looked through the talent management piece of it, and John's name was on the top of the list there of somebody to bring over to be in Brigade 3. You've done a fantastic job here in the time you've been in Brigade 3. You have your experience, your leadership has really made a difference, not only to all the folks sitting around this room here, but also for those Army National Guard and Army Reserve units that we train and support. I know the boys out, I can speak personally for Colonel Russ Johnson in the 116th, you know, out there in Idaho. Really appreciate your leadership and all you did to help support his outfit this past summer. I know Colonel Bob Interest thinks the same thing out of Minnesota right now. So, you know, hats off to you there. So, without any further ado, let's promote this fine officer here to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, and have him move on to other things in the Army. So let's read the order, please.
Attention orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Major John J. Hawbaker. In view of these qualities and his demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, he is therefore promoted in the United States Army to the grade of Lieutenant Colonel, effective 1 February 2015. Signed, Anthony J. Pete, Chief Officer Promotions.
Everyone, come on up. Normally when you promote somebody in rank, you'll take the old rank and toss it away, but these things cost a hell of a lot of money. So there's probably some young captains out over here in the armor branch that probably could,
That's wishful thinking.
they could probably work these things to do it. Picture here with the, before we do the other thing. Okay, one of the other traditions here is we'll redo the oath of office for, for a commissioned officer here, so we'll do that here for John. So for attention to orders, please. I state your name.
I, John J. Hawbaker,
You solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution
that I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
Having been appointed an officer
been appointed an officer
of the United States
of the United States,
in the rank of lieutenant colonel.
the rank of lieutenant colonel.
I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion.
and I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the office, the duties of the office which I'm about to enter.
the duties of the office of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Oh.
So very quickly, thank you. I'm incredibly honored for all of you taking time out of your busy schedules to come here, for even from out of state, from my family. And sir, thank you very much for your kind words. It really means a lot. I've learned a great deal from you, Colonel Wickman, sir. Thank you for all the things you've taught me in just in this job here. This is definitely a very interesting experience, one more of a very interesting job to have. I can't say enough how much I appreciate all the support and all the hard work that everyone in here does. So that's really what makes the Army a great place to work. It's different than any other organization.